Hello, everybody. Welcome to Pod Maverick After Dark. Kirk Henderson and Josh Bowe joining you after the Dallas Mavericks played the Los Angeles Clippers on Saturday, November 29th. Josh, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. That was a very, very crazy game. I mean, because they're all crazy. I mean, holy crap. This is the 85th Mavericks clutch game. Like, they're all like this.
They needed to win one of these clutch games. They did. The Mavericks beat the Clippers 114 to 110. This was an interesting one just on paper because we knew by midday Anthony Davis was out. Daniel Gafford was going to be out. The Mavericks initially said Klay Thompson was going to be out, I think before looking at their active roster and realizing that they just needed people. Klay Thompson then obviously plays in the game. Right before tip-off, PJ Washington, I guess it's warm-ups, tip-off, whatever, but close enough to where they weren't able to change the official starting lineup. PJ Washington steps on a loose ball, sprains his ankle badly enough to where he has to miss the game. And the Clippers are playing the second night of a back-to-back as well. They lost.
But they didn't travel. They were
right. They're a home game for the Clippers, where they lost to the Memphis Grizzlies last night. And this one just sort of had the makings of I don't want to say it's a schedule loss because the Mavericks have been losing most of their games. So to call anything a scheduled whatever is not, at least it's not how this works. So it became pretty clear early on that the Mavericks were going to work through Cooper Flagg, which is what a lot of fans have been clamoring for. And in a rare surprise for the Mavericks this year, Cooper Flagg delivered. He delivered early and often. And I sort of struggled to know where to begin to talk about this game because Flagg was good early. Klay was good late. And then Cooper brought the Mavericks home. And this, I don't. Can I get something on my chest? Can I do one of my things where I talk even longer than normal?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I've been very challenged dealing with people lately who have been very unfair to Cooper Flagg. It's not a massive amount of people, but I think enough Dallas fans had gotten used to seeing heliocentric basketball that they, whether they intended it or not, expected Cooper Flagg to play like Luka Doncic. That is not who Cooper is. It will never be who Cooper is. I don't know what Cooper's going to be, but probably not Luka Doncic. Fair enough. He's going to give what the defense, he's going to take what the defense gives him, and he's going to improve game to game as a rookie. And I think everyone should do their best to enjoy him for the player that he is and stop wondering about the player that he's going to be. We'll get there soon enough. But tonight was a real flash to show you just how much potential I think this guy has.
Yeah, I mean, this was incredible. This is an incredible game. I think it's funny coming off of the Lakers game where despite the fact that we both felt like he played really well, people were still kind of upset that he only took 11 shots. Mm-hmm. And then this game was like the opposite. Like he just scored and shot and just kept scoring and kept doing the thing where he's got that quality, man, where it's like when he's going downhill and he's going toward the basket and he has any type of advantage, even if it's a slight advantage, it just feels automatic. Mm-hmm. Like he's just so good going toward the rim, not necessarily like in the paint. Like if he's just dribbling towards the basket, I feel like whatever shot he puts up, he's going to make it, even if it's a little bit outside the paint, even if it's a floater, what have you. I mean, good Lord, he was 6 of 7 at the rim, and then he was 6 of 9. He was 6 of 9 in the paint outside of the rim. Like he kind of has that. He reminds me of LeBron with that like freight train where it's like, oh, it's over. Like it's already over. Like there's no point. Like the contest, like once you've gotten to the point of contest, it's like that's not the problem. The problem is you allowed it to even get to the point where he's getting the shot up in this position. Like that's how I'm already starting to feel with Cooper Flagg when he has momentum and he's going toward the basket aggressively.
The thing that I also believe we as a media apparatus are undercovering is that Cooper Flagg is on every single injury report because he has a sprained right thumb. Every one of those finishes at the rim, I would be willing to bet, was left-handed. He is not shooting at the rim with his right hand. He got one over Kawhi Leonard for an and one, but I'm not sure if that really counts as at the rim. He doesn't want to be hit on his right hand. He doesn't. And that's like, it's fine. I think that's all. I think the thumb is also impacting his distance shooting. I don't want to say, because he still has some pretty nice pull-ups from like 17, 18 feet, but the three-pointer is just not there. And that's fine. I prefer watching him attack, quite candidly, though it is funny watching guys go under screens on him right now, because we're going to get to a point with Cooper Flagg, I feel confident about this, where he's going to rise and fire on these threes. And when he makes 32%, 33%, that's going to stop. And then he's going to have even more downhill action. So the first half was really spectacular. The third quarter, the Mavericks played pretty well as a team. And Flagg, I think, really, he didn't take many shots for the first, let's just say 24 minutes, second half, 18 minutes of the third quarter. He might have taken 3 to 5 shots total after taking 17 in the first half.
Yeah, he took 6 total in the second half.
6 total in the second half, yeah.
Yeah, he only took 1 shot. 2 shots in the fourth quarter, made that mid-range pull up that I think gave him the lead late. But he also got to the free throw line. Like, he made the game-winning free throws, game-sealing free throws. So that's a little deceiving. It's not like he wasn't involved in the final minutes. But yeah, he looked gassed too. Like, people are, again, if you're like, I had to tell one of our staffers in Slack to like calm, like they were like, oh, they're icing out Cooper again. And it's like, man, you gotta pace yourself. Like, he can't shoot every single time. Like, there's gonna be moments where he's not gonna have the ball, but I get it. But like, he had 30, like this was perfect. This was a perfect game for him. He had 0 steals. I don't know how many games he's had without a steal.
That's because the steal lord Dwight Powell took
all his steals.
All of his steals. But if you don't know how many steals Dwight Powell has, pause the podcast right now and go look, then come back, because it's more than you think. He had 6.
Yeah. He had career high 6 at the end of his career. Yeah, this was Cooper's 4th game of the season with no steals. And he almost had a huge one late where he stripped Zubats, but he just couldn't keep the ball. Right. And it went out of bounds, but he made a great play. He had like 8 almost steals. It felt like he's so good at being free. Like, and this is what we talked about leading up to the draft in the summer, you talking to Kyle Mann at the Ringer. His free safety off ball defense is just, it's special. His help defense. And even though he didn't have any steals tonight, like, he was very disruptive off the ball.
You're smarter about analyzing defense than I am. Is it fair to say, but there just aren't many guys in the NBA like this. So when I draw comparison points, I think like, oh, this is why Draymond Green was so good at quarterbacking the Golden State Warriors offense, because he seemed to just know where to be ahead of where even the offensive player knew what was happening next. And I don't know, the Mavericks, you see his size limitations a little bit on defense at times, because it's like a guy like Zubac is just so big that he just sort of throws him out of the way. But really, there's like 6 guys in the league that I have concerns about like that, game in and game out. This was just I don't want to call it the Cooper Flagg arrival game, but I think with how disappointing the Mavericks have been, they're now 6-15. He's been lost in the shuffle because of lots of other issues. But his play has been pretty stinking consistent, and you just don't see enough for what I think fans want. And that's just going to come with time. It's a long year, and his development is not necessarily going to be linear, but so far, pretty stinking linear. Like, he's just kind of getting better every game. I don't know, man. Yeah,
I know. I can't believe he hasn't turned 19 yet. It's bananas. Like, these last 2 games, I mean, kind of shows you everything you want. Like the Lakers game, I know was a loss, but like his ability to play make, and he had the career high 11 assists and making the reads. And then he comes back the very next night. It's like, okay, I need to score. And he scored and he got shots up. Again, for a guy that not that long ago was seen more as like a defensive prospect, like his offensive game just continues to surprise me. I don't know, not surprise me, but just the way it's going, like how fat, like we're not even I'm not gonna lie, I don't think I would have predicted he had a 35-point night before Christmas.
Me either.
And we were both very high on him.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to him. He's the clear rookie of the year right now. Especially when you factor in defense, like even if he struggles a little bit offensively for like the next 2 weeks, like his defense is, he's the best defensive rookie, I think, in the league right now. And yeah, it's just he's a special player. And I know there's still a lot of anger and kind of sadness around the organization for a lot of people for a lot of various reasons. And it's kind of a shame that is there for some people. But if you can find it in your soul to give the team a chance, just the players, you're going to fall in, like if you haven't already, you're going to fall in love with Cooper Flagg. And if you could somehow ignore all the crap that's going around outside the team, which is hard, admittedly, it's very hard, but if you just focus on the games, I think Cooper is going to, I don't know. He's going to win. He's going to win back a lot of people. I'll say that.
Really nice. Okay. It's late. We're both tired. Let's take a quick break and then we will come right back. If you are at all interested in supporting the show, remember there's 3 ways you can do so. You tell your friends about the show. There are Mavs sickos in your life. There are. They're closeted right now because the Mavericks aren't very good, but you tell your friends about the show. Second way, listen to the ads. I know we got to put a lot of ads in here. That comes from up high. But if you listen to it, that's how Josh and I get paid once a quarter when we theoretically get paid. Last way is directly supporting the show. There's a link in the show notes. There's a link in the YouTube Live. We'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to host a rare Mavs party after this. So if you're at all interested here in the YouTube show, stick around. When Josh and I finish up, I'll cut for about 30 seconds, come back in. You can come up here, talk with me. You don't have to show your face. You can if you want to. It's a good time. I've now will be 21 straight of these. Josh, I had a very funny conversation today with our friend Mark Stein, who was like, "Is this lucrative for you to do this?" And I said, "No." but I do it anyway.
I don't even want to tell you what my doctor told me when I went and saw her the other day.
Get more sleep.
Summed that up pretty much. For the most
We're
part.
too old for this shit.
Pretty much. It was kind of the same question. Do you make money? And I was like, technically yes. So,
a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm looking at some of the numbers around this game, and beyond Cooper Flagg being great, beyond Klay Thompson being just really shockingly good for
23 points in all 23 of his points in the second half.
Okay, so let's talk about Klay. Let's talk about Klay.
Klay won them the game. Cooper won them the game, but Klay actually kind of won them the game.
Klay sealed it. Klay was the hammer.
Yeah. Cooper kept them attached, and Klay pushed them over the finish line. They absolutely. If he's just a little bit worse, they lose this game probably by like 7 or 8 points, even if Cooper finishes with 35. 23 points in the second half. After I think he missed all of his shots in the first half, and you're just kind of like, and you didn't even know he wasn't supposed to play, and then he has to play because they're sitting so many guys out. It was just vintage Klay. There's no really analysis here. He just made shots. He made shots that he's been getting all season. And this is something you talked about. He's a slow starter, and we're starting to get out of October. We're getting out of November. Isn't December is kind of when he kind of starts heating up?
Yeah, so it's a 20 game kind of thing. And he had one of those absolute bullshit I know they're talking. I was listening to the Clipper broadcast. They're talking about how, just Klay's shot as a whole. He hit one. His arm, his upper body is almost always perfect when he's shooting the ball, which is, I think, what drives me a little bit crazy when he does the sidestep or the needed pump fake, because he's so good with the upper half of his shot that sometimes the lower body, it's like he can do whatever he wants. And he hit one of these where he's coming off the screen and his hips are not turned remotely in the right direction. He's just rising and gunning, and it just hits nothing but the bottom of the net. Like one of those threes that like makes the popping noise. And that's disheartening if you're a defender, because they were close on Klay. Like I feel like they were trying to give him the proper respect, but the Clippers are
especially in the fourth. I mean, he made some bananas. I mean, they put Kawhi on Klay like that on the stretch. That's what that explains it all. Like how desperate they were to try to stop him. And even when they couldn't, like Kawhi picked up a foul on Dwight Powell, trying to fight through a screen because they were just like, we have to stop Klay. So that was pretty cool. Like Klay Thompson still having that. And like, again, he wasn't bad last season. Still like, he was very streaky. But what? He still shot 39%.
What level?
Yeah, he was still 39% on 7.5 threes a game.
This is what
he could get back there again.
Yeah, and it's an expectations game. Do you expect Klay to take people off the dribble and score 21 points a game, or do you expect him to try to hit 4 threes a game for the Mavericks and score 12? Like, I was never in the latter or in the former boat. It's like he's old. He's shockingly durable for given his injuries. But it's just that my expectations were always, can he hit some threes? And the Mavericks really need him to hit those threes. And that's that's not on Klay. That's on the team assembly. And so when you get a night like tonight, you got to win it. You just got to win it. So
yeah, absolutely.
No, you can't, like, it was kind of, we came out of Lakers game last night. All right, the Mavericks wasted an offensive performance because they couldn't guard Luka and Austin Reeves enough. I just didn't think they'd get another strong offensive performance. I don't know what the offensive efficiency was. It couldn't have been great tonight.
They were good on twos. They were bad on threes. But
this lets us cycle back to some of the numbers that I found interesting, at least. The key number for me for why the Dallas Mavericks were able to close out this game and the way that they did is the number of turnovers, 8. They kept it down, and keeping track of the ball has been really rough for the Mavericks this season. I don't know where they rank on turnovers, but they've been in like the bottom 5 in terms of turnovers per game.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cooper only had 3, despite the fact that he handled the ball a lot and he had 22 shot attempts. Nimhard was good again ish. And he played 21 minutes. He didn't shoot the ball as well as he did last game, but again, he only had 2 turnovers and second straight game. Like, they're not playing D'Angelo Russell. Second straight game, he's not playing. Like, didn't even get off the bench on the second night of a back-to-back. Like, he's out.
Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, he's like, Russell is out. Like, I don't think he's coming back anytime soon unless they just have to with injuries. But this would have been a game where you would have been like, okay, he's probably, even if Kid doesn't want to play him, you might just have to play him because of the rest and PJ Washington gets hurt and all that stuff. But he still didn't play him, which I think says a lot. And I think, Nimhard only had 2 turnovers. Brandon Williams had 1. So your 2 point guards combining for 3, and then your leading
Williams
scorer
keeping it. 3. Yeah, Williams has been low key a turnover problem, but you sacrifice that for his ability to take it to the rack, and him keeping it close to the vest, I felt was pretty important tonight. He had one where he stepped through Harden and Kawhi for a layup, and I was like, and that came right after one of those possessions where Kawhi Leonard essentially went 1-on-3 and scored on the Clippers. And I'm just like, that was Kawhi was like, I'm bored and want to go home. That was a pretty pathetic performance from him in the fourth quarter tonight.
Yeah, I mean, his last 2 missed shots where he just kind of like sleptwalked into like a mid-range jumper that he makes 9 times out of 10 and then clanked both of them. Yeah, I mean, the Clippers this was like the sadness bowl. Like, 2 teams that had expectations of being something.
Yep.
And they're both literally at the bottom of the Western Conference. Both teams that are trying to win as many games as they can win right now.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, this, as great as a win for the Mavericks, this is a fire everyone game for the Clippers. Because I mean, you're 5-14. You're at home. You have Zubats. You have Kawhi. You have Harden, and you lose to this Mavericks team. Like, that's got to be like, if I would, like, this is why I can't be an NBA owner, because I would literally like just send a text message to everyone and be like, "You're done. Like, the whole coaching staff is gone. You're all fired. You're all traded. We're gonna start the G League guys for the rest of the season." Like, I would get way too pissed off way too easily. But that doesn't take away from the Mavericks like win. Like, they had to take this. God, they had 15 steals. That's so funny.
Just the numbers so on this game are a riot. Like, it's really funny. And the Clippers won. This is the second straight game where the Mavericks pulled away from it, but the Clippers held the lead for something like 36 minutes of the game. And
you just kept waiting for them to end it. Mm-hmm. But like, I mean, this is every Mavericks game. You keep waiting for them. It's funny. Like, you talked about Jason Kidd earlier today, and no. And it was a worthy, like, it's a worthy take, because like, there's part of it where it's like, you kind of have to, when your franchise gets this nuked, it kind of makes sense to be like, we got to just like build all the way up from the beginning. And you get this out with Cooper where it's like, you have the opportunity to just start fresh with everything. So like, that part of it makes a lot of sense. And I responded to it only because it's like, they don't quit. And it's so like cliche coach speak, but it's like, how many opportunities over the last 12 months have they been given to just be like, hey, it's okay. Like, if you guys lost the next 3 games by an average margin of like 30 points, okay, like, everyone would be like, we get it. Like, things suck. People don't like going to work when things suck. People do worse at their jobs when things are sucking. We all have been there. Like, everyone would get it. Like, they would not like they would get a pass, but everyone would be like, yeah, we get it. And they don't do that. And I know that they're still 6-15, and they're still going to miss the playoffs, and they're still not going to be the team that they want to be this season. But again, they just don't, like, they've been given every opportunity to just be like, yeah, we can just mail this one in, and they don't. Like, this game, like, when PJ got hurt, like, how are they not down 15 points in the first quarter? Like if you're on the team and you see that, you're like, oh my God, what is even the point? Like, we're cursed. One of our best players is out, on a freaking slipping on a loose ball and layup line. Like, they had every opportunity to mail this game in. Second out of a back-to-back, we're on the road. The Clippers have their guy. Like, let's just get to let's just go home. Like, let's just play. No one get hurt. Let's lose by 25, and then let's get on the plane and go to our next one. Let's go to Denver. Let's actually like try for Denver, because Denver's good. And they kept coming. I don't know how much that's worth. I don't know. You can't put that on a spreadsheet. Like when you're evaluating a franchise, it's something that's going to be worth a lot more to some people and maybe not a lot to others, but like that, it's got to be worth something.
Well, my kid take was kind of validated today. There's a video that came up today of Luka Doncic screaming at Jason Kidd and calling him a fuckface during last night's game, which fuckface, just right up there with chuckle fuck in terms of just, if somebody called me that, I would, Anyway, you're right. I mean, you're ultimately right. I find myself in a place of, what have you done for me lately?
No, I know. Like, I'm not trying to say that like he needs to be the Mavericks coach for the next 25 years because he gets his guy to play hard, which like ultimately, like, hey, come on, guys, like everyone needs to be playing. Yeah. Like, that's what the money. That's your favorite, your Mad Men quote that you like. That's what the money is for. Like, so ultimately, like, you need a coach that could do more. Like, you'd ideally like to have a coach that could get your team to play hard and give you advantages elsewhere. But I just think it needs to be noted because it's just, crazy. It's just crazy. Like, I keep every game. I'm like, how are they going to keep it annoyingly close for the other team more so than they need? Like, how are they going to figure out a way to keep a 25-point loss and turn it into a 5-point loss, or in this case, a 4-point win. And they keep doing it every night. Now maybe Denver is when the magic runs out a little bit, but we'll see.
I like that. I think Stein said something to the effect of that Anthony Davis is playing on Monday against Denver, which you just need. Jokic is essentially the best NBA player of this generation. I don't really think that's too hot takey. I mean, if you want to throw Giannis in there, maybe, but it's like he's just so good. And if you already are down Derek Lively, you just need big bodies to throw at him and distract him. So that'll be a fun game, though. Road game starts at 8 p.m. Monday night. I hope PJ's okay because no more Caleb Martin minutes. Like, he's another guy who, if you sub PJ Washington for Caleb Martin minutes, you probably mix some others around too tonight, but that essentially lets you play a rotation of Dwight Powell, Najee Marshall, Cooper Flagg, Max Christie, Ryan Nembhard, PJ Washington, Musa Cisse, Klay Thompson, Brandon Williams. That's your 9 guys.
And then put in Davis when Davis is there for take out Cisse.
Bump Powell out. You bump Powell out probably over Cisse, even though Powell played 34 stinking minutes tonight. And Gafford will come back. But the Mavericks, I think, need to have this is how's this for an end of take hot show or end of show hot take. The Mavericks need to start looking. I think you got to move on from Gafford sooner rather than later. That game against the Lakers, I just have been thinking about how badly he was exposed. He tries so hard, but it's also for what when he's bad, he just is so overexposed. And I don't know, maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself.
And I think it just doubles down on, you saw that, and then you see Dwight Powell come in and play 34 minutes and impact the game and win, and you're like, well, why are we even paying this guy, that contract? So I get it. But also, it's like the hard part about trading Gafford is like your other foundational starting center cannot stay on.
No,
if
you move AD, you got to keep Gafford. That's true. True.
So I don't know. No, they could. I mean, they could move both and just play Dwight Powell and Musa Cisse for the rest of the season, and then just pray Lively comes back. I mean, if they're not trying to win games, that's a way to do it, right? That's a way to organic tank, I guess. Well, it's not really organic tanking if you trade your 2 best bigs mid-season, but yeah, I mean, excuse me, that was a fun game. I mean, that's even if you're on Team Tank, like,
no, you gotta find reasons to watch. Like, this is, I just keep telling people, I'm like, look, if you don't want them,
go ahead, go.
If you don't want them to win, I'll appreciate that. But don't just talk to me about how you want them to lose. You've got to find something else to watch for. Like, there's rooting against something forever. It really poisons your fan experience. I think, like, if in the back of your head you want them to, like, I understand. Season-wide, they should lose. Game to game, I just want them to win because I want to watch good basketball, or at least entertaining basketball. And the fact that they haven't been blown out maybe but more than twice this year, I think is a big deal. It's nice.
Yeah, I think if you're someone, like, if this win upsets you because you wanted them to lose, you need to stop watching. Like, take a little break.
Weeks. Yeah,
take a couple of weeks, wait, and then come back. Because again, like we made this point a couple shows ago, where it's like even if they finish with 25 wins this season, which is one of the worst teams, they would be one of the worst teams in the NBA. Mm-hmm. That means they're going to win like 20 more games. Like, they're going to win like 23, 24, 20, like 19, 20 more games.
Yeah.
So like you can't just be like, the tank's over because they win a game here and there. They're going to win. Even if they're the worst team in the NBA this season, they're going to win 15 to 19 more games.
That's right. That's right. And remember, if you want to find something to root against, you can specifically make it Caleb Martin doing anything. Even though his stat line's actually kind of fun. 7 boards, 3 steals. He just these things. Stinky Caleb. Oh, well, he was nice to my kid before a game once, so I have a hard time being.
Oh, there you go.
So, all right. I'm going to hang out and do Mavs Party. Josh, you go get some sleep. We'll be back on Monday night. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us here. Stick around. Those of you listening on the audio show, I'll put this up sometime Sunday afternoon. Everybody be good and go Mavs. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Mavs Party, a Pod Maverick episode. If you are watching this live, this is the show that you can join. I want to hear your takes. You click on the link in the comments. It is a StreamYard link that lets you join by phone, by computer. You don't have to show your face if you don't want to, but we go one by one. We talk Mavs. We can talk about the Mavs victory over the Clippers. We can talk big picture stuff. We can talk trades. You can even ask me about my various television habits or things I'm doing lately. I don't really care. We're just awake, so let's talk hoop. Everybody be nice to each other. Talking to the various people in the chat who are arguing. My Dodang is feisty there in the chat. He wants to join to talk about it too. I can see him. All right, Patrick, welcome. You're up first.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
I only show up for wins, I think. I think this is my third call this year, and I'm pretty sure they're all wins. So
what if you plan to join every game? We'll make the playoffs.
Well, I do watch every game, but I try anyway.
No, I get it. It's a different. Everybody kind of fans differently. And some people just they're like, all right, they lost. I'm going to talk after the next game. Some people like me and Mr. Dang down there he's going to join us a little bit later. We're mad regardless. And so that's why this is just the place to be. So what are you thinking? What did you like? What did you hate, etc.? Let's talk about the game.
Well, to make up for the bandwagoning or bandwagon calling or whatever, I will I'll be negative and nitpick actually. So obviously Cooper had a great game. We won. But one thing I noticed is he'll try to get the switch on the smaller player for an ISO. And I feel like he gets such tunnel vision backing them down. He doesn't know when the help is coming behind him. Like we get so used to like Luka had eyes in the back of his head. And I feel like he has a sense of where they are. But if they show up at a time that he's not expecting it, he's going to lose the ball.
I think there's something to that. It also depends who's guarding him. I mean, that's a repetitions thing too, where you want him to have these reps so he starts to sense it. Like Dirk got significantly better at this after the 2007 playoff collapse. And it's reps over time. It's feel. It's becoming the offensive engine and getting used to it. He had a fourth quarter turnover that I'm thinking of where he tried to do what you're describing and just sort of was like, fuck. He ended up with like three guys around him and lost the ball. But then earlier in the game, he posts up Kawhi and gets an and one over him on the opposite block. And it's like, okay, well, you live in two steps forward, one step back kind of thing. And I think we will live with results like tonight's.
Yeah, and I suppose the general concept we're alluding to is just getting better at passing out of the double. And on that topic, I don't know how many assists he ended with, but it was astounding. He had 0 for a very long time in this game. And I don't know if that's the nature of players just missing shots or if he's not setting guys up well or anything like that. Of course, he's not Point Cooper, but I'm just curious.
So he had 11 last night. He had 11 assists last night, and it was watching these two games that way back to back is interesting because I felt, and this is just my take. I could be wrong. I'd love for somebody to tell me if they think I'm misinformed here, that he was making the same kind of passes tonight and guys weren't connecting. One of Klay's massive threes in the second half came out of a drive, like it was a real simple drive and pivot out to Klay. So he passed, his playmaking's there. I'm really impressed with his reads is where I'm at. And the take last night in here from people who are frustrated, there's only one guy, But the comments were very frustrated in Coop's lack of aggression last night, even though he had 13, 7, and 11. So it's like, what? Some games you can't win for losing when it's because I think people are just wanting to see this rapid progression to him being the Mavericks' best player. And we're a little bit of ways away from that. But tonight he certainly was, at least for me.
Yeah, he's more fun to watch without AD on the court. I'll just say that and be on my way.
I agree. But don't tell anyone.
I won't tell AD. All right, have a good night. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah. No, of course. And keep in mind, guys, don't slander Patrick. He did say, whoop. Can you guys hear me? Oh, sorry. Man, that was weird. I accidentally clicked the wrong screen and went away from my own podcast for 25 seconds. That'll be fun to edit out later. Coming up next, Mr. Daniel.
Oh, what's up, Kirk?
How are you?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm just glad that this Mavericks team won after this 3-game losing streak we've had.
Yeah, it's they needed one, and we all kind of had this one circled as one that we felt they had a better chance than. I mean, the Mavericks, at least this morning, were like 7.5-point underdogs, and when you get that big of a line, Vegas tends to think that a team's going to get waxed. So it was nice to come out and see them do well.
Yeah, I also do think that Cooper Flagg, he's amazing. 18 years old, going to be 19 next month. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah.
What'd you think about AD last night after coming back from his calf?
I was pleased. I thought he physically looked better. He had a punch the first 5 games. Like the Mavs media photos, he had a belly. And people outside of my Mavs sphere were commenting to me about it. So meaning other teams' fans and things like that. So I was pleased with the way he looked. I think that given the minutes usage, he didn't take too many shots I hated. I thought he played pretty good defense. Luka exposed him on the pick and roll, but I also don't think he's near as good a defender in space as he was billed at and hasn't been for some time. But that was before he was even traded to the Mavericks. I mean, he's like a 14-year vet who's had lots of injury problems. So my standards were not sky high. I wanted to see if he moved well enough, and I thought he did, and I thought he looked physically pretty good. So how's that for a big picture answer?
That's fair because you know how AD is. If he's healthy, he's one of the more better players in the NBA when he's playing at the 4. As far as the game goes tonight, I thought Cooper Flagg was exceptional with his 35 points. He was able to get through the Clippers defense with no avail. He had that dunk over Zubac, which was kind of crazy to think about on the fast break. And Klay Thompson, can we just sell high on him? I want to sell high on Klay Thompson.
I think the answer to this question of what do they do with Klay comes to they will treat Klay like the veteran Hall of Famer he is and try to do what he asks. And if he wants to go somewhere, they'll trade him. If he doesn't, they will keep him. Because I think his contract's partially guaranteed next year. And I've been mentioning this more and more. Draft capital in the NBA is really fucked up right now, where a couple of teams have a ton of picks and it really messes with the market. And, the most you're going to get for a guy who, like Klay, is at his age, even at his statistical output, which is better than people thinks it is, he's not getting more than a second rounder. You're not getting a first round pick for Klay Thompson. So that's part of it.
Yeah, but I also do think, too, is that when Klay gets hot, you got to get a hand up because if you don't get a hand up, he's gonna shoot that basketball like it's nothing.
Well, and you can, for anybody that if you're at work next week and you don't want to be doing your job, for example, and you have access to a computer and spreadsheets, you can pull up his month-by-month numbers since the ACL return and the Achilles injury. Excuse me. He's takes October and November to warm up. It's about a 15 to 18 game warm up, and then all of a sudden he's cooking. So that's sort of where he is. He was real good for the Mavericks down the stretch. He finished 39% from 3 on the year. Now, I know it depends on what you were expecting from him. It's not like he's going to shoot 48% or something wild, but he's good. Like, and guys don't lose the ability to shoot. What Klay, I think, has done more of this year is he's no longer doing that wasteful pump fake that used to drive me crazy. He's just kind of taking the shots as he's been given. So
I'm just glad that Klay is doing better on the bench than he is starting, because I feel like in his career he needs to be like a bench guard for his career going forward, because he can average you like 15 to 16 points for his career.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very good for a bench player.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So as far as the Mavericks go moving forward, the game against Denver coming up is going to be really, really tough, because that high altitude is going to be a problem for the players, and you got to have oxygen going over there. And hopefully AD plays in this game as well. And we
He
need
is.
PJ.
I read earlier today, and I can't remember who, but he is playing Monday.
Okay, so we're just waiting on PJ or Gafford to be available on that game.
Yes, and Gafford should be available. This was sort of like a designated rest day where I think, honestly, the Mavericks, I don't want to say they were throwing the game, but they were not putting out their best foot forward.
Mm-hmm. But overall, I'm just glad that they won tonight. But you know, there were some plays in that game that the Mavericks they almost lost this game too, because you know the Clippers could have been up by 15 or more easily,
yes. And they should have been.
They should have been easily, but Dallas just kept hanging around like they do, and then they just come out on top like they always do. So
yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
Well, anything else for us?
Well, I was also going to say too is that we're supposed to be waiting on Kyrie to come back at the latest of January, if I'm assuming, if that's correct.
So he didn't get his surgery till the end of March. Christmas Day will be 9 full months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Chat GPT and other things will say NBA players, the window is 9 to 12 months. I just don't see it. I don't see him coming back.
Right. I feel like January is the target date for him, I think. But as far as the point guards go, Brandon Williams and Ryan Nembhard, they've been great for us so far. And I really like Ryan's game. I think him and his brother Andrew, there's a reason why that he's a good player. Yep. There's a reason why he's good. And I feel like Jason Kidd has done. I feel like he's put him in a good spot, I think.
Well, so tonight he played 21 minutes. I think 20 minutes is a good amount for him, because he's small enough to where a team like the Clippers will eventually start ISOing him and punishing him. And instead, they're using him in these short bursts where he's running the offense, and then they're not doing anything where they're really targeting him too much on defense. I like, and then Brandon Williams was the other guy who played. Let me just see here. Brandon Williams played about 20. He played 26 minutes. So that's 47 minutes between your 2 point guards. That's good. That's good minutes distribution. I liked it.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good backup minutes too, because remember, when Kyrie does come back, it's always nice to have backup guards like Brandon Williams and Ryan Nembhard to get the bulk of the minutes for Kyrie, because you know that Kyrie is getting older in his age.
Yeah.
So that's when you need him.
Well, we'll see soon, man. I appreciate you joining once again. All right.
All right, Kirk. Talk soon.
All right. Coming up next, my friend Ash Boying. Then I got to take a short break. Let's go to Mr. Boying. What's happening?
Good evening. How are you?
Good. It's late, but not too late.
Yeah, I was up till 3:30 last night. So
we're too old for that stuff.
It was a great high school football night, though. So, anyway,
what are you thinking today?
Well, I'm looking at the box score, and one thing really stands out. Mavericks shot 10 more shots than the Clippers. And I will tell you that comes from the fact that the Mavericks had 10 fewer turnovers than the Clippers. And isn't it kind of strange that when you have fewer turnovers, you win games?
Finally.
Having the ball is a good thing in the NBA. And so that stands out greatly. I like the fact that Cooper was able to get to the line, but Man, I sure don't like the disrespect he's getting from the officials because I don't think they're giving him the same whistle that, say, even Kawhi gets or anybody like that. And he's a rookie. I understand it, but you'd like to see him. You'd like to see him get close to the same whistle.
Yeah, and the free throws will sort of cover up what you're talking about because he attacked the rim relentlessly in the first half, and he only
He
had
absolutely did.
Yeah, and he only had 2 free throws, and that was not. It's pretty silly. I'm not a refs guy. I had to stop becoming one after 2007 Mavs. I just don't. It's not fun for me. But it is getting a little annoying. Now, if the Mavericks were playing more competitive basketball, I don't know, they've been playing competitive basketball. If they had a better win-loss record, I think it'd be more of a story. And I think as the season goes on, I bet if you were to watch his like free throw attempts month by month, they're probably going to creep up. Someone said to me today, they want him to attack the rim more just because he needs, in no small part because it'll push his free throw rate up. I'm not so sure about that with the lack of whistles, but I at least agree with like the idea where tonight was the first night where he's really been looking for his own shot. And that
especially in the first half.
Mm-hmm. And I know I appreciate the guy wanting to make the right play, but I do think there's something to your point. So
the more free throws you have, the more efficiently you can score. I mean, the Mavericks had 90 shots tonight, which I think that's a pretty good target for a nightly, shot number. It's kind of like the old football. Clemson used to shoot for like 93 plays a game.
Yeah.
And that's how they were winning games, like how they were beating Alabama and stuff. And Houston, they're able to shoot 4 more shots a game than their opponents, mainly because their offensive rebounding is so relentless. So you just got to find that lever to be able to generate more shots than your opponent, because in that way you can sometimes be less efficient and still, win a game.
That's right.
So you look at Houston, who is wildly inefficient on a per shot basis, but they shoot so many more shots than their opponents.
They're rebounding 40% of their own misses.
Right, 42%. Yes.
God.
Steven Adams has an insane 26.5% offensive rebounding percentage. I mean, and that does 2 things. One, it obviously gives you more shots, but number 2, the other team's not going to try to get out on the break so much because they can't. I mean, they got to stay in and rebound because otherwise Houston's going to punish them on the boards.
Yeah.
So, that helps their defense as well. So you've got to find, and much was made about Oklahoma City and their turnover generation, especially last year. It's continuing this year, and that's how Oklahoma City's able to generate more shots. And then, of course, they've got, a lot of skill to go along with that, which is why they're on a record pace for net advantage. So I think they're 16 points a game net differential. So and then conversely, our Mavericks are leading the league in turnovers, and it's no coincidence that they're close to leading the league in losses. So that's what I think. Wanted to make one point about Klay, and you kind of made my point for me, but you're not going to get more than a second round pick for Klay, but I think Klay's kind of deserved Klay's kind of earned the respect of, you should go to him and, okay, Klay, what do you want to do? You want us to try to trade you to Detroit, who really needs 3-point shooting, and that way you can compete for a title because that's what you really came here to do.
Yep.
Or do you want to stick around here and babysit?
That's absolutely what I hope for from them and for him, because I think the Mavericks institutionally have to wash some of this Luka stink off the franchise.
Mhm.
I mean, part of Harrison's appeal was, did I say Luka stink? I meant Luka trade stink, like what they did to him. Sorry, I don't want to be clipped tomorrow and have somebody yell at me. Harrison's appeal, right? Harrison's appeal was that he was cool with players, and I think when you do what he did to Luka, it just kind of wipes all that away. And you know, kid needs to get his name out of it too, even though I think that's going to be harder to do. And by treating a veteran like Klay right, I think that earns you things. I think players notice that.
I still think kids are going to try a Milwaukee style coup.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
But regardless of that, I wanted to make one point about Klay Thompson, because you talked about his upper body and his shooting, and isn't it amazing how he's able to generate space without ever taking a dribble? He's got that that funky rip through move that he kind of does, where he's able to generate space for a shot, and without ever taking a dribble. I mean, it's just
his lateral and frankly his just overall quickness is pretty preposterous. And
for as old as he is and the injuries he's had, yes, it is.
For as old as he is, for the fact that he's got, he's a scruffy haired white dude. Like he had a couple of moves going. I mean, most of his moves were going left tonight, where he just appears past really good defenders, and I don't.
And you don't know how he got there.
Right.
So
it's like there's like a first step ability to what he's got the little hip swivel thing, and he uses it in the paint where it's just like, God, he presses off so quickly. It's really impressive.
So, that's pretty much all I've got tonight. Got some really good football games coming up next Saturday. So, hey,
where do those get played? Like, are we getting to where they might getting played at an arena? I didn't go out to Midlothian to watch my guys get waxed. I think I made the right call.
That's a drive, and they played better than I thought they would. So,
yeah.
The way those works, and it's kind of weird that they say it's a coin flip, right? But obviously, since both coaches are generally on the phone, it can't be like a coin flip. But what they do is they'll name a city. Okay, so one coach will name a city, and the other coach has to say odd or even. Okay, to describe the zip code of the city the first coach just said. If the coach gets that right, then he gets to choose where they play. If the coach gets it wrong, the coach that named the city gets to choose where they play. That's how they do the coin flip.
Okay.
It's kind of funny. When my kid was playing at Geyer, I got to see it kind of live and in action one Sunday morning. But they're Geyer's playing South Lake at Crowley Stadium.
Okay.
I think DeSoto's playing Willis, which is probably going to be a pretty good game. And I don't know where that game's going to be because Willis is down by Austin. So my guess is going to probably be Waco.
Oh, God, Texas high school football is fun,
right.
But I will be paying attention because I like following it. But hey, thank you so much for joining, man.
Not a problem. Talk to you later.
All right, talk soon.
Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm going to take a quick ad break because I need to put some in the show. Mr. Green and Mr. Dang are waiting, I believe. If you like supporting the show, there are 3 ways to do so. Tell your friends, listen to the ads, and give money to Josh and I directly through the links that are in the show notes. So I feel weird just asking for money, but hey, this is it's harder and harder for Josh and I to do this. But anyway, we'll be right back. Okay, thanks for waiting. We'll be back on Monday night. So if you are listening to the audio-only version of the show, you should consider joining the YouTube channel and participating. Coming up next is my man, Mr. Green. How are you, friend?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, not bad. A little tired, but we'll be all right.
Running fumes.
I used to work political campaigns, so I got kind of used to staying up all night. Doing dumb stuff. Then I also have I've got 2 kids under 10. And so it's just, between basketball, kids, work, I've got used to never sleeping. And so instead I just look terrible. So that's fine. What did you think today?
Yesterday feeling Mate, I just wanted to come in and have a mental health check on you, Kirk. Make sure you're still doing all right. I wonder how Kirk's going, because like I said, mate, I can't consume additional basketball content after a loss. Can't do it. Zero interest in doing it. But yeah, man, look, good game tonight. And it made me think that I haven't asked this question of you for quite some time. And it's the annual, who are we getting rid of at the deadline question? Because I'm looking at the roster and look, I know this conversation's been quite Klay Thompson heavy. You know, you guys have commented a lot. Everyone wants to talk about Klay. Can't get rid of him. You're not paying him anything. He has an elite skill. If this was a good team, you wouldn't get rid of him. And I'm not saying it's a good team, but we have a chance to turn it around and, you know, make a run at some stage this season. It's inevitable. You know it's going to happen. We're going to win more games than we want to win. We're going to get a worse draft pick than we want to get. And I'm looking at the roster, and mate, I only want to keep 7 players. I just want your opinion of who are you keeping, Kirk? Who are you keeping moving forward?
Okay, good question. So PJ Washington can't be traded because of when he signed his deal. So you're keeping PJ Cooper. You're keeping Kyrie simply because you don't trade an injured player. I also just happen to like Kyrie. So that's 3 guys right there. Ryan Nembhard's a 2-way player. Let's go, and I'm just kind of going through the guys here person at a time. You keep Max Christie as well. Dwight Powell kind of comes with the building. He's like a cat that just lives on the premises. You don't really have a choice as far as where he goes. I like Najee Marshall a lot, but I also think that he's the kind of guy that a team might make an interesting offer for. I enjoy Moussa Cisse, but he's a 2-way guy. Brandon Williams, I don't think will be on the team next year. Jaden Hardy will somehow live with us always. I think that D'Angelo Russell, somebody that obviously if they can move him, they will. They will also move Anthony Davis if they are happy with the kind of offer that they get, because I think he's their only real shot at getting assets of interest back in a draft, or I'm sorry, in a trade. Dan Gafford, too. I'm iffy on Gafford. He's the one that I just don't know because I think he brings some things and he also makes a lot of money. So it's hard to say with him.
Man, watching Gafford is one of the more infuriating things that I've experienced as a Maverick fan. He's either very good or very bad to the point where every time he steps on the floor, it feels like he's dragging the team down. He's one of those polarizing players, and without someone to feed him the ball with lobs, he becomes insignificant to the team. And to be honest with you, apart from on the defensive end, Lively feels when I watch him to be exactly the same boat. I could live without either of them. I could get rid of both of them. Now, the unfortunate thing about Lively is I think we're just going to see this throughout his whole career. He's just another Anthony Davis. He's just going to be in street clothes all the time. I would sell high on Lively. I know that sounds bad, but he just can't stay on the floor. But man, Gafford, he's turning my stomach. I would get rid of him tomorrow. It's just one of those things. He's really hard to watch, and he doesn't look like he's buying in or playing hard to me. I don't know.
I watch
gut feeling.
So since I'm kind of gross, I watch a lot of these games twice, and I value Daniel Gafford's effort. What I get frustrated with is that he is simply not big enough to do the job that they entrust to him, because he's 6'9" and about 230. And a lot of the times he just gets pushed out of the way, whether he means to or not. So he can't defensive rebound well enough. You're very much right that on the offensive end, unless he's getting fed stuff, he's not that helpful. Lively's kind of
not a great defender though, Kirk. He's just not a great defender. He doesn't box out. He hangs his head a lot on the offensive end, which means he gets back, which means we're already in rotation. We haven't set up the defense. That's what really frustrates. The effort doesn't look like it's there. And I reckon that was probably one of the worst signings that we could have done, is to give him that contract.
So, Alice Boying in the chat points out that he signed an extension. So currently he's making 14 million, and then that's getting like a boost. And I don't think that kicks in until next year. I could be wrong. Ultimately, it doesn't matter. He doesn't make enough money to where he's not tradable. I think he makes a little more than a backup big than what you'd like, but I think that teams are going to be interested in him. Like, I do think the Lakers will make a push for him. I do.
I was more talking about the effort level.
Sure.
Giving him the bag, giving him the money, giving him the extension. It feels to me like he feels like there's nothing to prove. I don't know if he could have played earlier on in the season when he hurt his ankle at training camp or whatever the case may be. But, man, I just don't think he's given us a lot. When I watch him play, I just don't feel like he's given us a lot. I'm confused as to why you think he's playing hard. Because
I do think he plays hard, but I think he's offensively inept without a good guard structure. Like that's kind of a given with the nature of his game. I will say I think the lively part's probably more complex because we've not seen a good stretch of basketball from him since the Western Conference Finals in 2024. Last year was a wash. He had and this is where I don't know how to judge him appropriately because the Mavericks botched his diagnosis with his foot. And so I can't lay a misdiagnosis on him. But now he's coming back. Like this year, he is having problems with the same foot. And they told us he's going to miss at least 7 to 10 days due to swelling. And I talked about this last night just to myself while I was waiting to see if anyone would join the show. And I said that I don't trust the Maverick medical staff to tell us what's actually happening because swelling is a symptom. It is not a reason. And so if they don't know the reason yet, that would freak me out if I was Derek Lively. So I say all that to preface it with, I think trading him would make sense, but I also don't think he can because he's essentially a lemon waiting to happen. And so you're not going to get anything for a lemon. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do know what you mean. And, this has been a really tough watch this season, and hence why I don't want to participate much in these shows. But, what is interesting is when you have players like Nembhard. Now, look, I don't want to buy too much stock on Nembhard Island, but to see him and Cooper running around together, he doesn't look all that pressured. He does have that 6-foot guard problem that I have a massive issue with. And that was why I was so into Exum. Exum's that taller, longer, rangier guard. And I think in the modern NBA, that's you got to be sort of 6'5" in my books. I'm not giving players contracts under 6'5". It's just as simple as that. Kyrie's obviously the exception to that rule, but in general, your role players, they have to be of that length because then they can have a little bit more impact on the defensive end. And did I read something that Exum's out for the season? So that's him. He's not playing for the Mavericks again because they're not going to have another crack at him, surely.
I don't know if he would have another crack in the NBA just based off of this kind of injury stuff. However, I've seen some video of him and moving around, and I don't understand why he's out for the year. I also remember, and I'm curious if anyone else remembers this, that he was marked as out for the year last year and then showed up in a couple of their late season games.
Yeah, I didn't see that. But, man, it would be such a tragedy that Kyrie will be the only Aussie left on the team.
German, Aussie players. The Nico Harrison really did his best to make it an America first basketball team. It's this season is just so I don't disappointing, yes, but it's also within my range. I don't know. I'm a negative person, and part of what this show, the podcast in general, I don't want to sell it as a negative show. So sometimes I hedge my own opinions because I don't want to piss people off in the middle of summer. And I was really worried about this team going back to the D'Angelo Russell signing because I just don't think he's any good. And I
Neither does the coach.
Well, yeah, and I'm kind of on the record talking about how I think he's a fine signing, et cetera, and I just sort of fib. Like I should have just stuck to my core, my takes, because ultimately, who cares? Like I don't mind being wrong. Like the thing that I think people misunderstand about me a lot of times in my takes is like, if I'm wrong and the Mavericks win, that's better for me. Like I would much rather they be better than I think they are. So
yeah, I'm definitely enjoying some of the lineups. Like, tonight I think we seen Coop, Nemhard, Christie, Musa, and Klay on the court. That was, I had to sort of rub my eyes. I hope I'm remembering this correctly. But, Musa gives it, man. He gives it. And, like, if I was to put, like a percentage of effort from how I see it, Musa's at 85% minimum. And I would say that sometimes when I watch Gafford, he's at like a 60% minimum. And that's what I always worry about when you have a rim roller and you don't have a great passer, a dynamic passer. And it would be different if Kyrie was out there. But when you have those sort of guys earning 20 mil plus, even though he's, this year he's only on 14 mil, man, I just hope he's not on this team at the trade deadline. I really do, because we need something, but we're not going to discount wholesale Najee Marshall or Klay Thompson. They're not leaving the team. But we obviously need to try and swap out some players, and even if we just get a few second-round draft picks, because the thing that was so infuriating about what Nico did to this franchise is that basketball's a game with 5 players on the court at one time, man. Mm-hmm. And when you have the best player, you have such a larger percentage of chance to win. And it's been a tough watch this year, Kirk, but I just wanted to check in and make sure that your mental health was still okay, especially at this time of night for you, mate. It's, it's, what is it, 2:42 p.m. over here?
12:45. Yeah. So by the time I get everything done, it'll probably be 2 a.m. So, that's fine. It's fine.
Well, I was walking from a train station the other night after catching up with my high school mates at a bar in the city, and I was walking home at 3:15 in the morning from a train station waiting for an Uber. So I feel you there, brother. Might just starting to feel human today.
It sticks with you for a few days when you get off your sleep cycle. So, all right, man. I appreciate you joining us. All right.
Thanks.
Okay. So here's the deal, guys. Mavs win. So this is fun. People should join me even after losses. I understand. I actually do understand wanting to move it along. I'm going to have to kind of figure out something if the Mavericks are going to keep losing it at a roughly a 70% clip, because the losses, it's a much more interesting group therapy when the team is competing for something. So we'll cycle around. We'll figure out what's up. There's fewer games here in December, only 13 after these. I don't know how many they played in November, but it felt like a ton. So fewer Mavs games means fewer podcasts. So we'll see where we're going. Everybody be good. Talk to you guys Monday night during the Denver game. Go Mavs.